Hey guys, Aramis555 here. I just wanted to come to you with an updated DDD deck profile. I finally got all the cards, I've changed my build up a little bit, and I have it playing, I think, perfectly. Like, I love my build, I think it's great. This deck is super underrated, I think, for the format. It's actually got a really good Cosmo matchup. It has really good matchups against a lot of the other rogue decks, such as like Burning Abyss, Mermail, and whatnot. And overall, I'm in love with it. I think it's probably the most fun I've had playing a deck, and probably since windups, probably in about 3 years or so. And yeah, if you're looking for something really budget, you can. The deck was cheaper before. I actually picked up my playset of Leonidas's for $12. Each Leonidas now is about $12 to $15, and that's really just hype prices because it's the only super in the deck that you do need a playset of. So I mean, like, I can see why those are expensive. Oracle King Dark now is also pretty expensive for a rare. It's going for about, I think, $3 to $4. So. But anyways, yeah, without further ado, let's get on with the deck profile. I'm not going to really explain a lot of the changes. I want to make this deck profile a little bit shorter than the 30-minute one that I did the first time. So hopefully this one gets a little more views. Please make sure to click on the ads and stuff in my videos, guys. You do really help me out with that, and you give me incentive to keep making videos. Also, let's get this to 30 likes. And I will have that Burning Abyss deck profile for you guys sometime next week. We did record it last week, but Brendan wanted to change his deck profile, so I told him I wouldn't upload the video until he updated it. So anyways, 3 Rebel King Leonidas, one of the best cards in the deck. You have to play 3. Even when we get the new support, I'm going to play 3 this card. I've seen a lot of builds not playing it. This thing saves you from dying from your contracts. It's also just basically a free 2600 beater, which does get over most monsters in the game. And of course, it's also the fact that it's level 7, so you can do rank 7 plays with your Dark, which is actually really relevant. 3 Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok. I've seen a lot of people playing 2 of this. You're doing it wrong. I'm sorry, you're doing it absolutely wrong. You need to play 3 of this card. It's mostly just for the fact that if, like, you put 1 in the Pendulum zone, you only played 2, you only have 1 left in the deck, so that relies on the other Ragnarok basically being destroyed, and then you're going to have to play the other one as a Pendulum and special that one back, but then it never gives you that second one in the graveyard. So your only way to really make a rank 8 is with 2 other ones, other than Berfomet, but that's a very awkward way to do it. Like, you really won't get that situation up that often. And I mean, to be fair, like, your rank 8s aren't that great. Like, Kali Yuga is amazing, but you don't make them that often enough to really, you know, be upset about the fact you don't make rank 8s often. But I still think you need to play Triple Orc, or Oblivion King, because you want to open this card and you want to play it in your Pendulum zone because it's going to be gaining you advantage pretty much every turn. My favorite card in the deck. This is your main normal summon. Is triple DD Savant Kepler. You pretty much don't normal summon anything else in this deck. Like, until we get Night Howling, like, this is your normal summon every single turn if you know how to abuse the card properly, or especially early game. Like, this guy's so important. He is small, but I do run traps in here that do protect him, of course. He basically searches you out any of the dark contracts. I've never really used his other effect to bounce a DD card of control to the hand, but like, you could use that potentially on a Pendulum scale, such as Ragnarok, if you wanted to special it from your hand with a slime in the graveyard. So you definitely have to play 3 Kepler. And I'm just playing 1 Galilei, mainly just for the reason that it's just basically there because it's another search off my Odd Eyes, which I'm still playing, and I actually really like this card for this main reason that you can use it to discard, bounce back Kepler after it's been played, so the Kepler doesn't die and go to the extra deck, meaning you can normal summon it again next turn. And it's also, you pretty much never use it for Pendulum scale, by the way, but it's also really good because it does fill up the graveyard for Necro Slime, and if you banish this guy off Necro Slime, you really don't care because he's not something you're going to special summon back. Yeah, I'm playing the 3 Swirl Slime. You do have to play triple Swirl Slime. I've seen a couple builds playing 2 as well. That's definitely wrong. This card is one of the best cards in the deck. It speeds everything up. It makes your Darks really easy, which is really the only fusion it can make right now. But it's just such a good card. Like, it's amazing. Then 2 Necro Slimes. 2's perfect number. I think 3's too many and 1's not enough. You can discard this with your Witch, and you can also just get it out of your hand with cards like 1 for 1. Swamp King, stuff like that. So this is a plus in the graveyard. I know in Dave's build, Dave's the guy on Team Samurai X's channel. Shout out to him again. I think he's testing 3 right now, but I just thought with 3 it doesn't make much sense for the fact that like we only have 3 of this guy right now, and the only way to make him is with Necro Slime. And I guess like potentially you're getting a Necro Slime faster that way, but I mean the way I look at it is I can always just search it, and I'm probably gonna make my first arc off of like a Swirl Slime or something. So the third Necro Slime would potentially be dead at that point. I'm playing 2 Berfomet. That's just mainly for the fact that Berfomet is your only other normal summon besides Kepler, but usually you're going to special this guy. He's just like discard fodder, and you can bring him back off Ragnarok. I just love this guy mainly for the fact that he actually helps you make Oblivion King, or sorry, Wave King Caesar, and Caesar is amazing. Like it's easily one of the best cards in the deck. It just floats everything. When it dies, it adds something back, and if you use its effect when it dies and it goes to battle phase, it'll come back, and then you can get like another search off of it the next turn. So that's really, really good. That rounds it up for the DD monsters. 2 Maxx's. I think 2 is perfect. I wouldn't play 3. I think that's overkill. If you really want to, you could side the third one, but I think 2 is just that perfect number. And I do still play the 1 Odd Eyes. Like I said, it just like if you don't open Kepler at this deck, it's really, really slow in a sense. And I want to open Kepler, so even though this does set me back a turn, this is like your last resort card. It's basically like a Geargi armor where it's like, you know, you're going to set armor and you have to wait till the 3rd turn to actually start playing Yu-Gi-Oh! But this is the same thing. Like, you have to wait till the 3rd turn to summon your Kepler and start getting your pluses. But, I mean, at least it's getting me to Kepler faster. And if I do open this and a Kepler already, I'll always just destroy this and then add the Galilei from the deck to the hand, just so I know I can use that Kepler again next turn. So I think 1 Odd Eyes is just really good. It's just more deck thinning. More consistency. Oh, sorry, I'll get the monsters out of here first. That's, I think, 20 monsters. On to spells. So we're playing triple Dark Contract with the Gate. Not going to say much about that. That's staple. 2 Dark Contract with the Swamp. 1's not enough. I think 2's the perfect number. 3's too many. You can discard the contracts off of your Witch. So, like, I think you need to play 2 of this because sometimes you just need to pitch a contract. And we don't have the other level 6 fusion right now. So he's the only card that actually recurs contracts other than Kali Yuga. But once again, Kali Yuga is really awkward to make, so you don't really have any way of getting them back, so I think you do need 2 right now. Probably even when we get the other fusion, I'll still play 2 Swamp Kings. 3 Upstart Goblin, deck thinning, really good in here. One guy I saw in the deck profile was actually playing Chicken Game. I think you could totally do that. I think that would work fine. It's kind of cool because if you have lower life points to your opponent, you don't take any effect damage, so that means your contracts won't burn you. The only thing I don't like about Chicken Game, though, is like we don't have a way to get it off the board other than popping it with our own Witch kind of thing. So the opponent could take advantage of that, and rather than paying 1,000 to destroy it, because he's not really worried about it, he's just going to pay 1,000 to gain advantage off of it for free. So I don't really like that, so I wouldn't play Chicken Game, but I mean, if you wanted to, it is potentially another deck thinning card that you could play. I'm playing the Allure of Darkness. I see a lot of people not playing this and saying it's bad because you don't have anything you want to banish. I don't agree with that. Sometimes you get hands where you open like 2 Keplers, and you really only need one or 2 Keplers in your deck to like start recurring. You know, you always have Odd Eyes if you don't want it. You can banish that. You have a spare Berfomet. You know, like this card just deck thins. You got to play it. I think like it's just super good. There's no reason not to play it. One of my favorite spells in the deck right now actually is Burial from Different Dimension. I wasn't playing this before. I had Dave telling me to play Foolish, and I tried Foolish before when I first built the deck, and I actually hated it because the only thing that really is good for it to dump is like a Ragnarok, so you can banish a Swirl Slime in your hand, a special another Ragnarok from your hand, and then special that Ragnarok from the graveyard back. Okay, cool. I get a rank 8, big deal. Or you can send the Necro Slime and then get a free Dark off of it. But it still ends up being just a 1-for-1, and it's not really special. So the thing I like about this is, like, since I have Allure of Darkness, since I'm playing Swamp King, since I'm playing, you know, stuff that banishes from the graveyard, basically, or like the slimes, basically what this does is, like, you can get mega pluses off of this card. It's never really dead either. Like, even early game, like, you're probably going to open, like, a Swirl Slime, and you can always just, like, make double Dark first turn and then, like, set the Burial. And then if they get over that field, you can just flip up the Burial, send back the Swirl Slime and the Necro Slime, and they're live again. You can bring out your 3rd Dark for free. So that's really, really good. It's basically 3 cards making 3 2,800 beers, which is pretty nasty. The other thing I like about it, too, is like you can put back Cosmos into the graveyard, so this is really good against Cosmo matchup right now. And also, it's really good because you can put stuff back in the graveyard for Swamp King, so you can make more copies, if need be, of your really long Caesar King Ragnarok level 10 fusion name guy. Nobody wants to pronounce that whole name. So yeah, I think Burial's better than Foolish. It does the exact same thing, but I don't have to run extra copies of Necro Slime, and it's chainable, and the fact that it can work against some matchups in your favor, I think it's just a better card. Foolish just isn't necessary. Like, we have a trap card that can dump anything from our hand, and we have a spell card that adds whatever we want from the deck to our hand to dump off the trap card, so it doesn't really matter. And the 1/1-for-1, I had somebody in a video say don't play this card. That guy's dumb, I'm sorry. This card's awesome. You can pitch something out of your hand that you want in the graveyard, and then special Kepler. It's just another way to get into Kepler and get your pluses going. And it ends up being a 1-for-1 anyway, so it's like one of the few decks I think where you can 1-for-1 and not go minus, other than, of course, like 1-for-1 Dandy, which is inconsistent. So that's it for the spells. It's 11 spells. On the traps, 1, 2, 3 Dark Contract of the Witch. Okay. So I see a lot of people playing 2 of this. I think that's fine. I just love 3. Like, I noticed that the games I opened this, I won. This card is better than Errors. Errors is great. I'll talk about that in a second. But the reason I love this card is, 1, it's really good against, like, everything. During your opponent's turn, this is such a relevant effect that people seem to forget about, but during your opponent's turn, it makes your monsters, all your, Fiend-type monsters, gain 1,000 attack. So all your 2,800 Dark, your 2,400 Wave King Caesar, your 2,600 Leonidas, they all go up by 1,000, so they're all in the 3,000 range. There isn't a lot of decks that can get over 3,000 monsters without having to waste resources. And you can also use this in damage calculation, which is awesome. So this is basically a honest for the deck as well, which is great. This card can pitch other contracts in your hand as well, so it's never dead, because if you open 2 of this compared to opening 2 Errors, which happened to me a couple times in testing, the second Errors is dead. This isn't dead. I can set the Witch and then pitch the second Witch if I want to. The only thing that's unfortunate about this card is, like, you do discard for a cost. If your opponent does Chain MST to it, of course, you will go -1. But this is basically the deck's MST. You can use it during both players' turns, which is really, really good. It just interrupts a lot of Pendulum plays. You can end phase pop back rows with it, send something you want from your hand to the graveyard. It's just so good. It's my favorite card in the deck. I basically want to add consistency, and I feel like opening with a Witch and a Kepler, or a Kepler and a Gates, is going to get me to the Witch, and that's going to get your advantage going. So I really think you have to play 3 of this card. I know that obviously, like, a lot of decks dodge targeting right now, such as Magispectors and Cosmos and stuff, but once again, this is really good against Cosmos, and against Magispectors, this picks off their back rows in the end phase, and it picks off their Pendulum Scales. So, I don't know, I just feel like you need to play this card right now. It's just so good. I'm sure somebody will comment down below on why you don't play 3, but I love 3. Dark Contract with Errors. This card is awesome. I think it's just a 1-of, though. I would side the second one for decks that play a lot of traps, like Heroes and Constellar, or not Constellar, sorry, Satellar Knights. It's also really good because you can use it to shut down your own traps. So, like, it's a 2-card combo with this, where you can use your Errors to shut down your Witch, so you only take 1,000 burn instead of 2,000 off of the 2, which is really good. It's also really good just for the fact that it's chainable, and it's a trap stun you can use during the player's turn. And with Vanity's Emptiness, which is amazing in this deck, you can shut down your Vanities during your turn, start special summoning, and then during your opponent's turn, this activates again. So that does leave you to the possibility that you could play Skill Drain in this deck. I'm still testing Skill Drain in here, but I just found that, like, if you don't have Errors and you have this card up, it can really hurt you more than help in some situations. But you could definitely play Skill Drain in here just because you are playing a deck with so many big beaters. And then round up the traps and playing the 1 Torrential Tribute. I still love this card. I think it's really good. Yeah, it sucks against Magispectors, but it's really good against, like, Ignites. If you use it properly against Cosmos, it's actually still really good. It's good against, like, Heroes, yada, 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 yada. So Mermails, it poops on when that deck comes out next set. It's just still wrecks Mermails. I love Bottomless Trap Hole still. It's just spot removal. It's good against a lot of cards, and it's really good against Pendulums. It's good against the Performage deck as well, so I think Bottomless is still a really good card. I'm playing the 1 Solemn Scolding until we get Notice. I actually really like this card because I only run 9 traps in here, and 4 of those traps are always going to be pretty much face up because you can just flip them up during your opponent's turn at any point, and it basically is still able to activate. You just don't activate the card. But Solemn Scolding is really good for the fact also that, like, paying 3k in this deck, you don't care, because I've had games I've won where I've been at like 20k, and you just, after playing a Scolding and like a Warning in the same game, it's just huge. This is also awesome against Pendulums, obviously, because it does stop the whole summon of multiple Pendulum monsters, which is great. And it stops monster effects and everything too. So, and then one Solemn Warning, which I think is staple this format. So I'm going to quickly rip through the extra deck because this is pretty much all the same. So we have 3 Oracle King Dart. You have to play 3. I would never play less than that. Even when we get the OCG support, play 3 of this card. It's like your main monster. I'll just keep those there, actually. 2 really long name guy. Wave Oblivion King Caesar Ragnarok. Whew! Basically, you have to play 2 of this. There's cool combos where, like, if you have the 1 out, and the next turn you could Swamp King the second one from the field while you have Ragnarok in your Pendulum zone, and then make a second one, and then special the one that you had back. And this guy's effect can be used twice in a turn. It's not a once per turn effect, so you can actually get over a field of potentially 4 monsters that way. And his effect doesn't target, so this is your out to Cosmos, guys. Make this card, it wrecks Cosmos. That's it for fusions. We're playing the 1 DD Duodon King Kali Yuga. You make him more than you probably make Felgram, but I like having Felgram here just for the option that it is effect negation during your opponent's turn. Kali Yuga is just really good because it does basically Cold Wave the turn you summon it, so there are some OTKs and stuff you can do with this. And it is a heavy storm during either player's turn. So this is really good against decks that play a lot of back row. He does also go up to 30 or 4,500 with your trap card up, so that's really, really good. Draco Sack and Big Eye. I would play the Red Eyes or XYZ if I had it, but I don't. 1 Marksman King Tal. This guy's really good. 2 Caesars. I think you have to play 2. I've seen a lot of builds just playing 1 right now, and they're playing like more rank 4s. This guy's like one of the best cards in the deck. Like, he's honestly your best XYZ in the deck next to Kali Yuga. Like, this card is nuts. It's so easy to make. There's a 3-card combo in this deck that you can make this guy with the Dark turn 1, which basically will protect your board. And it's just so strong. Like, when he dies, he adds you back a contract. He can special himself back, and then you can overlay it for the Marksman King Tal, and then like dump a card, or you can just leave the Caesar, and when it dies again, or you can fuse with it with a Swamp King, you get another Search, and it's just such a good card. 1 Castel. I haven't yet to summon either of these in Dweller. I'd probably cut out Castel and Dweller for the Red Eyes XYZ and probably a second Marksman King Tal, but this is fine. And then 1 Slacker Magician because you can make it off of Necro Slime and Keplers that are on the board if you don't want to leave them there and you want them to go into the graveyard. So that is the deck, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I definitely don't mind if anybody wants to net deck this build. It's been wrecking. I've been wrecking the OCG builds of DDDs with this. Excuse me. I've been beating lots of good Cosmo players on Dev Pro and stuff, and I just think this deck is really, really underrated, this format. I wish I could take it to a tournament because I know the deck well enough now. I do really well with it. I've been like wrecking Brendan's Brain Abyss and Ignites and everything with it, so it's just a really strong deck. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Peace.